There we have a lot to go through, a lot of polls, a new Q poll crossing soon. But Chuck Todd, look at those numbers. This has been one of the worst months for Hillary Clinton that I can remember any candidate having, especially in August, where there's not supposed to be news. Dropped 10 points in just about every poll. And here you actually have Ben Carson and Jeb Bush ahead of her.
No, and it just, you know, every time you think, okay, when is she at bottom, it feels like there's a new bottom. And, you know, look, and we can all use the caveats all we want. Oh, you know, these general election numbers, you know, how meaningful are they right now? But a month ago, when she was having bad poll numbers, when it was starting to go down, one of the things they hung their hat on is, well, as bad as her numbers may look, she's still in better shape when matched up against any Republican. Well, that's not happening anymore, right? Now that, you know, this is just pile after pile after pile. It's like she got bad primary poll numbers. Well, you can explain it away with Sanders. But suddenly, if her electability is in question, well, then that's when the hand-wringing truly begins, and that's when donors start panicking. Well, and I think they are panicking.
And Kristen, that is the biggest problem for them, donors right now panicking. You go inside the numbers here, and against Ben Carson and Jeb Bush, any lead she had with women is wiped out.
It's really remarkable to look at how the polls in the general election context have changed. So much of the attention has been paid to the rise of Bernie Sanders and the struggles she may be having in the Democratic primary. But by and large, Democratic voters still like her. They're not breaking away from her in that primary, you know, to go to Bernie Sanders because they're concerned about things like the email or what have you. But in the general election context, when you have these independent voters who don't necessarily give Hillary Clinton the benefit of the doubt, they're the ones that are really paying attention. And it's poll numbers like this that I assume the Clinton campaign has been seeing internally, which are informing their decision to now kind of change course and have Hillary Clinton come out and try to apologize for the email story instead of hoping, well, maybe it'll just go away.
You know, it's very interesting, Mika, that when Republicans nominate somebody that doesn't do as well in the general election, everybody wrings their hands and say, oh, they're radical and they're insular and they're looking inward and their primaries are just is a race to the bottom. So if they're going to live by that sword, they got to die by that sword. And if Hillary Clinton starts doing more poorly in general election matchups, the Clinton people can't come out and say, well, it doesn't really matter, because as Chuck said to donors, it does.
It appears to be to some in terms of